So, what happens when one of the biggest companies that literally powers the internet goes head to head with a major European nation? Well, it turns into more than just a headline. It becomes a huge fight over control, censorship, and really the future of the web itself. And that's exactly what's happening in this story: Cloudflare versus Italy's Piracy Shield. Take a look at that number: 14.2 million euros. That is the size of the fine Italy's government just slammed on Cloudflare. And a number that big, well, it raises a pretty huge question. To get to the bottom of that, we've got to unravel a really controversial new law, a series of high-stakes threats, and a debate that could actually change how all of us access information online. This is the story of Italy's Piracy Shield. All right, so let's start with the event that kicked this whole firestorm off. The basic facts are pretty straightforward. Italy's regulator, a group called AGCOM, told Cloudflare they had to start blocking certain websites through their popular 1.1.111 DNS service. Now, if you're not familiar, a DNS service is basically the internet's phone book. It turns the website names we type in, like google.com, into the numbers computers actually use. So if you block a site at that level, you can pretty much make it disappear for a whole lot of people. And Cloudflare, they refused. They said no. And for that, Italy hit them with that massive 14 million euro fine. But the reason they were told to block these sites, that's where it all gets messy. At the very heart of this whole conflict is a system that Italy created called the Piracy Shield. And to really get why Cloudflare is so against this, we need to look at how this thing actually works. So the Piracy Shield is a law specifically designed to fight online piracy. It's got a special focus on taking down illegal streams of live sports. And its main weapon? Speed. The whole system is built to take down pirate sites almost the instant they get reported. And here's the part that's just wild. Copyright holders can report a site, and then, within just 30 minutes, every internet provider and DNS service in Italy is ordered to block it. 30 minutes. That incredible speed is what Italy says makes it so effective, but it's also the very thing that makes it so controversial. And we are not talking about a small-scale operation here. Since this thing went live, the Piracy Shield has been used to block over 65,000 domain names and something like 14,000 IP addresses. I mean, the scale is just massive, which brings us right to the core of this fight. So this is where Italy and Cloudflare are standing on completely opposite sides of a very, very deep divide. You can see it right here. Italy says the system is a precision tool. It only targets illegal activity, poses zero risk to legitimate websites, and is necessary to uphold the law. But Cloudflare sees a completely different picture. They call it a censorship scheme, one that has no judge, no jury, no due process, not even a way to appeal if you get blocked by mistake. They also argue that this kind of rapid blocking would actually slow down the internet for all their users. And Cloudflare's CEO, Matthew Prince, he is not mincing words. He calls the system a tool for a shadowy cabal of European media elites to censor whatever they want. And he pointed out another huge problem. Italy wasn't just asking them to block sites in Italy, they were demanding they block them globally. You know, this isn't just a theoretical debate. Critics are pointing to some very real and very significant harm that the Piracy Shield is already causing. Yeah, that fear about blocking legitimate sites, it's not just a guess. A recent report found hundreds of perfectly legal websites were getting swept up in the Piracy Shield's net. And the researchers said that number was a conservative lower bound estimate, which means the real number is probably way, way higher. And some of the examples are pretty shocking. This system recently blocked Google Drive by mistake. The result? A 3-hour blackout for users all across Italy. It's also been used to block VPNs, the tools people use for privacy, and other public DNS services, which could cause just massive internet disruptions. So in response to these huge fine, Cloudflare has threatened to hit back. And their threats are, well, they're severe. We're talking about pulling cybersecurity services for the upcoming Olympics, physically removing all their service from Italy, shutting down free services for all Italian users, and just stopping all future investment in the country. This has gone way beyond a simple legal fight. And if you want to know just how defiant they are, Cloudflare's CEOs summed up their whole attitude with this blunt statement. It's a very clear message that they think Italy has crossed a line, and they are ready to push back. Hard. So at this point, you might be thinking this is just a big, messy fight between one company and one country. But the outcome here could have a ripple effect across the entire internet. See, critics point to these deep, systemic flaws in the Piracy Shield. That 30-minute window, it makes careful fact-checking impossible.
There's no clear way for an innocent website to appeal if it's blocked by mistake. And maybe the most concerning part of all, the company that built the reporting platform is tied to Italy's top football league, which just so happens to be one of the main groups using the system. That's a huge conflict of interest.
And it's not just Cloudflare, by the way. Even Italian internet providers are arguing that this law goes against core principles of the European Union. Usually, these principles treat network companies as mere conduits. Think of them like the Postal Service. They're not responsible for the letters they deliver. This Italian law basically flips that whole idea on its head. And that brings us to the final critical question that this all boils down to. This fight isn't just about piracy, and it's not just about one company's fine. It's about whether a single nation using a super fast automated system with very little oversight should get to decide what gets censored for everyone everywhere. The outcome of this battle could set a huge precedent for the future of internet freedom around the world.